Hey guys, Jesse here, and welcome to part 5 of my perfect grade RX78-2 work in progress / review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the core fighter, the core block, and the waist unit. And we'll sort of see how these two things work with the waist unit. So let's go ahead and start, and we'll just quickly start with the least moving part, least active part, and that's the core block. Now this piece, I painted it up, but it is extremely detailed. Probably the singular most detailed unit, I'd say, of this entire build, just on its own. And it doesn't move at all. It doesn't have any articulation or anything like that. But yeah, there's a bunch of cable details, wire details, and it's gonna be very hard to see. I don't think my camera's gonna pick it up. Yeah, I'll post a picture, but in there is the pilot, and you can see it pretty well from the naked eye, but it's just not going to come up on my camera. In any case, yeah, and then there's vents up there. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Now the coloring guide in the manual, let me get that real quick. They do give you a color guide for this thing. It's not exactly supposed to look like how I have it painted. They kind of want you to paint it like that, so that the colors sort of match the core fighter. So I decided to go against that because I really like my mechanical look, and this is going to be inside the Gundam anyways, so I imagine it's more part of the Gundam if anything else. Also has boosters down there. But yeah, you can put in a lot of work into making this look really good, and this is just my sort of take on the core block. So there's the core block. Then next, let's take a look at the core fighter. And now I went ahead and made this Sayla Mass's core fighter. You see I painted the pilot like Sayla Mass's normal suit. And what's really cool is they give you a bunch of stickers with different names. So let's see, I have the sticker sheet here, and you get one for Ryu, Kai, Slegger, Sayla, Hayato, and Amuro. So you can make this core fighter any one of those people's core fighters if you wish. The only problem is all the name tags, except for Amuro's, are not cut, so you have to cut those out yourself. Like, they're not just poorly cut, they're not cut at all. So, and same goes for the rest of these decals. They're all just really poorly cut. Now this decal, this EFSF with WB005, what happens here is this is one big decal, and it said WB002, and they give you, actually I'm going to pull up the decal sheet again, a bunch of these other designations here, but those are also not cut at all. This is what the original decal looked like, WB-002, and they give you all of these from 0, 1, 2 of course, no 3, I don't know why, 4, and then all the way till 9. So if you want to change that, you're going to have to get this decal that originally said 002, cut off the 002 part, cut out the number you want, and then put that on there. And that's on both sides if you want to follow the sort of marking sheet exactly. Of course, you can sticker this guy up however you want, but I don't know if 005 is Sayla's core fighter or whatever, but it doesn't really matter to me, honestly, and I haven't seen the series in so long. But anyways, yeah. So very nicely detailed core fighter. This is actually the only part I can think of that isn't completely color accurate. The back, this rudder on this red piece should be white, and I believe this sort of top part of this nose cone should be black. So if you want this to be 100% accurate, those are two things you need to paint. The rest of the kit so far has required no painting at all to get color accurate, but the core fighter does, it seems. A lot of nice decals, or stickers I should say. I really like this one in particular. This one says like intake and it says danger. It's just really nicely shaped. I like where it goes, and it's on both sides. It's a little bit on the NASCAR level of decals, but of course that's all up to you on how you'd like to decal it up. And you also get landing gear in this chrome, which is removable. Speaking of removable stuff, this does have some opening panel pieces, but that's it. There's some missiles that come out. I don't know if this is show accurate. I don't remember the missiles coming out the top. I remember they're being mounted on the wings, because that's a very small line of clearance for those. And it opens on both sides. This one's a little tough to get out, but it looks exactly the same. Now, oh, and the cockpit opens, of course, or the canopy. Now, of course, this can transform into core block mode. So, actually, I'm just going to remove this front landing gear. Show this off, because I'm going to keep it in core fighter mode. So you have to close up that panel, and you would close up these panels. Close up the wings. And then this part is supposed to slide in a bit, and you just rotate this down, and then this wing should go down, and there you go. You have the core block. I'll go ahead and remove these. That's fine. They're just on polycap, so they go in and out quite easily. And there you go. Now your core fighter's in core block mode, and it can go into your waist unit, and you can see the pilot through that canopy. But of course, I'm going to keep this in core fighter mode, and I'll transform that later. But yeah, here's the core block and core fighter in core block mode if you're interested. Nice thing about these landing gears is this wheel's a separate piece, so you have this chrome sort of piece of landing gear, then you have the wheel, and I painted in that silver, but that's how they all are. And now we'll take a look at the waist unit. So here's the waist unit. Yeah, of course, all weathered up. Each of these are on a ball joint. What's kind of interesting is there's just this one huge piece with 6 ball joints on it, and that's where the skirt armor goes on to. And usually for a lot of kits, this side armor is, or a lot of RX-78 shoes I should say, this side armor is just on a hinge, but it's actually on a ball joint, so you can get this however you want. So yeah, and all the skirt armor moves, even the back skirt. So that's really cool. Has its armor opening gimmick, opens this little piece, and every single one with a yellow panel opens up to reveal just a bit of detail, and that's also another very detailed piece. The texture on that cable is very defined, so I highly suggest doing something to that cable to make it stand out, whether it's just simple a panel wash or something. Of course, I painted mine up, but yeah, there's that. And then this part you can push in the center part to show off some grill detail in there. Really hard to get this back into place, so I just take off that armor piece and slide it back on. It comes off and on really easily. Maybe that was the intent. And then this piece, I have to take this off camera because mine's kind of stiff. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that to slide up. I guess it doesn't really matter since I'm not going to be storing the beam rifle on the back, but I don't know, that part's kind of stuck, I guess. This panel would be able to slide up to reveal port to put in the beam rifle, but I'm going to have my Gundam holding it, so it doesn't really bother me. But anyways, yeah, so that's it for the waist armor. Oh, interestingly enough, the legs just plug into it. There's no ball joint or anything sticking out here, so all the articulation for the legs is sort of independent of the legs themselves. So there's that. Now to plug in a core block or a core fighter, they both have a polyclap slot in there, and this has these little pegs, and you just simply plug it in. Now I'm going to do this for my core block since this is the unit I'm going to be using it with, and to be honest, that's probably not going to ever come out again. But that's how that looks. And then of course you're going to plug your torso, and that's going to go on to those pegs there. So let's see if I can do this on camera. It's going to have to require some off camera lining up, I think. One moment. Okay. Wow, that took a lot more finagling than I thought it would. But yeah, there it is on there. I ended up having to remove some shredded polycaps from the torso section, but it's on there just fine. But anyways, opening up the armor panel opening gimmick on the torso gives you this sort of view into the cockpit. But if you want to do it the sort of proper way, you have a hatch there, which you can sort of see where the pilot is. So that's really cool. Yeah, getting that on was not very fun. I don't know if it's the paint I have on it or what, but anyways, he's on there just fine. And then this sort of gives you this amount of articulation in the waist, not that much. But yeah, so there you go. There's a look at the core fighter, core block, and waist unit of this perfect grade. And in the next, we're coming to sort of the home stretch of the entire construction of this thing, and then in the end I'll do a final review. But next up we'll be taking a look at the weapons, and I'll catch you guys next time.